Hello everyone, this is Bob and Threadbare, and welcome back to Elevator Maintenance.
Oh, it's a bee. I hate these things.
Jeez, just kill it.
No, it'll sting me.
Elizabeth!
I have a better idea.
What are you doing?
Opening a tear.
Oh, shit! What is that?
It's a tear. I used to open them all the time in my tower.
What is a tear?
It's like a window. A window to another world. Most of the time they're dull as dishwater, a different colored towel or tea instead of coffee. But sometimes I see something amazing and I pull it through. There.
Good God. I don't suppose you've got an airship in there?
I don't think so. But there is. There is something. Oh no!
Close it.
I'm trying!
Close it! I don't really understand what I just saw back there, but it sure as hell looks like a shortcut to getting us killed.
But I could help.
I can handle whatever comes along. Trust me.
Have it your way, I suppose.
That gives a good sense of Elizabeth's proportion regarding those tears. Oh look, a bee. Let's open a tear.
To the sky Comstock bent his knee, and saw with holy prophecy an Eden floating in the mist.
Okay, we've seen that one before.
By heaven kiss.
Well, I should say we've heard that one before. But then we also have seen it before.
Huh.
And if I didn't grab that fast enough, she would have highlighted it for me.
Lay down your arm!
Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt you. But I don't think you're gonna have to worry about bowel movements any longer. So there's that. Wonder if there are any lady cops in the ladies' room here. No, but there are plenty of silver eagles.
Grab that lockpick.
And a lockpick. You can just barely see the little blue highlight thing through the sides of the stalls. But on the plus side, she was standing right there, so well, it wasn't too hard.
Could you take a look at this lock?
Sure thing. It's done.
Just got two, so uh-oh. Too bad this game doesn't have a lean button. But then again, I have found earlier that fire's the weakness of the turrets. After the way that one I shot just got demolished. Ooh. But that's only if they're staggered, and yeah. Ammo advantage is just too good. I'm gonna be wearing that throughout the entire game. I make no apologies about that.
I served 20 years of soldiering, and every heathen land I've known has less peopled for my passing. I hated no special enemy. Until now. Comstock. He's made a vaudeville travesty of my battles and cast himself as the White Knight. I called him out over it, and he stripped me of my rank. That man has never seen the savage face of war. But he will.
You know, there are actually enough lockpicks just in the world that it is possible to... Oh, hello. we've got force push.
Press to launch your enemies into the air. Hold and release to create an eruptive trap.
This is actually just about as good as Murder of the Crows in terms of
When we strike,
combat multiplication.
Cornelius Slate a lesson. Now, I know you've all come to think of Slate as some kind of war hero. But let me be abundantly clear. Cornelius Slate is no hero. I've been living down in Frankton so long that the man has gone native. If Slate had his way, the damn collards and potato eaters would be up in Comstock House running Columbia. Or in your homes, copulating with your wives. Now, he has holed himself up in the Hall of Heroes. And it is our job to get him out. Alive or dead. Once our gunships arrive, we're gonna storm the hall, clear them out, and have you all home in time for supper.
You done? Well, you are now. Alright, let's get these guys before they spread out too much. As it is, there's that turret back there, so I think I'm gonna chill over here for a while. And there's fucking Bronco. Like I said, it's really damn useful. Ah, crap. What else is out there?
He disappeared!
I'm getting low on health. I should probably do something about that.
Was just the beginning. Zachary Comstock will hear our voice. His temple shall burn.
Nothing but shotgun ammo back here.
Running regularly through the streets of
Not even a shotgun. Although I suppose it got confiscated in the raid or whatever the hell happened here. Crate of machine guns. That's not a good sign. Alright, well, haven't really found any health, but I guess this will have to do. That one was a little more resistant to fire.
Appreciate it.
Ah, now that's what I needed. Hey, it's the Raven. You know, fire isn't terribly useful against the Raven guys. Raven's out for obvious reasons, but let's try bucking Bronco here. Yeah, I'd say that's failure. Now, who else is out there shooting at me? Oh, there you are. Howdy.
Okay, on second thought, I think those tears of yours might come in handy next time we're in a scrape.
Well, there has to be a tear around for me to use. I can't just pull them out of thin air.
Well, she kind of did pull one out of thin air in the elevator, so I'm just going to assume that she can see tears that other people can't. Tears that are too small for the visible eye of normal humans.
Oh, it's a code book for a cipher. A secret message from the Vox Populi.
Secret codes?
I don't know, maybe she can smell them. Wouldn't surprise me. Alright, so everybody's dead, so now it's time to hunt around for money. And also these collectible things here.
It's only fair they give me a cut of the profits, don't you think?
Yeah, the basket there. Full of Lady Columbia's. Ah, 3 picks. Well, let's see if we can find a few more around here. Aha, here's one.
Here's some cash.
Nice.
That's a pretty nice amount, too.
God makes all kinds of soldiers, but he only made one Cornelius Slate. My father followed him up San Juan Hill, through the legations in Peking, and as he put it, through hell the order was given. At today's muster, Slate asked me if I was Sergeant Monroe's daughter. I said, yes, sir, I am. Slate said, your father always wanted a son. I hope the fool has wisdom enough to recognize his good fortune.
Lance Corporal Vivian Monroe. I suppose that pretty much settles that, yes, there are women in the Army in Colombia. Of course, I'm not done searching around here just yet. Yeah, it's kind of messy. And hey, 3 lockpicks. But I want to finish exploring here first. Yeah, looks like one hell of a thing happened here before we showed up. Hey.
Hey! Booker, look! That's what the codebook deciphers, I'm sure of it.
Huh.
Let's see. Tip the hat to the fox.
Well, there must be more to this place than meets the eye.
I wonder how complicated that code actually is.
Tip of the hat.
Indeed.
Like, if it's a simple replacement, a symbolic replacement, then it probably wouldn't actually be that hard. I mean, assuming that you had a large enough sample.
Odd.
It's a little more difficult if it's smaller.
Daisy Fitzroy. I've read about her.
Yeah, and I'm trying to
Books
listen
say
to
she's
her.
out to tear Columbia from the sky.
Everybody's got a dream.
I don't want to be a part of their culture, their politics, their people. The sun is setting on their world, and soon enough, all they gonna see is the dark.
Alright, gonna have to listen to that again.
The one thing people need to learn is that fear is the antidote to fear. I don't want to be a part of their world. I don't want to be a part of their culture, their politics, their people.
Salts.
The sun is setting on their world, and soon enough, all they gonna see is the dark.
You know, I'm not really sure that's an effective way to build racial equality.
Set ready!
Oh, hello. Well, it's got a nice amount of power, I'll give it that. Oh, there's even more of them out here now. Yeah, they're real trouble with bucking bronco is that they respond to kinetic force, so once you start shooting them, they turn into a moving target. Of course, it's not that hard to track them down. It's just a bit of a problem, that's all.
Got a tip there were contraband guns hidden in the fellow traveler. Didn't find them, but funny thing, we found some old uniforms under the floorboards from the war. Took guesses as to why they were there, but... Who's there? You're Slate, right? Sir? Put the guns down!
Did you hear that, Comstock? That is the sound you have never heard. The sound of a soldier's end. Come to your Hall of Heroes. Prove me a liar.
Okay, I think he's gone insane.
You want to take a look at this?
Looks easy enough.
I mean, he's basically declared war with the government
Got it.
by killing an innocent cop. Not something a soldier ought to do, and man, that's loud.
Hey, there's a lockpick over there.
Thanks, I was getting there, but... well, whatever. Shouldn't complain. That's actually pretty nice. But not as nice as punching people electrically. So I think I'll hang on to that for now. Oh! Hidden pot of coffee. Actually, I gotta kind of wonder about those coffee cylinders. Like, is that just the grounds? Is Booker just munching on coffee grounds? That's a little weird, Booker.
They shut down gondola access to the Hall of Heroes. Must be because of what's going on with that man Slate.
Well, I suppose we could take those skylines above us. We just need to find a way to clear off that cargo first.
This is going to be fantastic.
Think that keen eye of yours could find some ammunition lying around? I sure could use it when there's trouble.
It'll take some scrounging, but I'll do my best.
Man, she cannot wait to get onto this, well, effectively roller coaster here.
Line's clear.
Didn't really need to wait for that thing to go up. Could have just walked around the side there. But oh well. Switch lines here. As the giant statues of saluting soldiers. You know, I basically get the sense that the giant statue union has locked this city down.
Who's that?
Slate? I actually know the fella. Seems he's still got a knack for making enemies.
I think I'm gonna search this side first here. Oh. There's the RPG. And that was actually pretty close to where we found the secret one. Doesn't seem as awesome now, though.
Veterans! You shed your heart's blood for Columbia, lost limb and viscera in the godless Orient. Comstock did nothing! And yet, look up! Whose image squats above you even now? At every angle and insult! If the prophet would make a painted whore of our past, what fresh rape does our future hold? Let us now make our stand and fill yonder hole with true heroes!
I'm not sure that's how heroism works there, guy. I don't know.
Booker, take this rifle. Oh. Ammo! Catch!
Yeah, normally she supplies the same weapons you've got. But right now we're making an exception in order to show off the, can't get a clear shot. But then again, neither can he. Yes, this is showing off the sniper rifle.
Keep my eyes open for more. Looks like we found where your old friend Slade is.
Just find that shock jockey and get the hell out of here.
So yeah, this is basically about as long as the sight lines get in this game. Altogether, it's not actually that bad. Oh, that guy's getting close. Oh, 6 shots, 6 dead. Sniper rifle's pretty good. My only problem with it is the ammo scarcity. It's not just that it only holds like 10 shots, which is, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Elizabeth's reaction is basically my exhibit number 1 for the combat executions were intentionally made excessively violent. Ah, damn it. Man, she won't throw ammo to you if you're out of combat.
Want to hold on to this?
It's a little inconvenient. But that's okay, because I wasn't going to keep the sniper rifle anyway. Like I was saying, the stopping power is nice, but there's just too little ammo for it. More to the point, there aren't that many sniper rifles. That's a problem with only 2 slots. So if you get attached to your rifle, run out of ammo, you have to switch, and good luck finding a new one. Now the carbine, and that requires more shots, but on the other hand, it carries a hell of a lot more ammo, so I'm going to be sticking with that for the time being. You only get 2 weapon slots, so generally what I do is I get 1 precision weapon and then 1 not-so-precision weapon. That can be, you know, shotguns, RPGs, a few other weapons we haven't encountered yet. We've seen this slogan around everywhere. Adorable. Alright, but it doesn't look like we can get up to where the snipers were. No stairs on the outside of the Hall of Heroes or anything. Ooh. I found someone's stash in the corner here. But I guess that's it for the exterior, so next time we will enter the Hall of Heroes. But for right now, it looks like the Veterans Association of Columbia has kind of gone insane recently. So, as we gear up to fight them, I suppose I should discuss the history of veterans. A soldier's lot. Throughout human history, there have been 2 classes of soldier. The first is the professional, the specialist, the leader. At certain times and places, they led from the front, mostly because it's hard to direct an army without proper communication, and when all else fails, they could shout at the people around them to do something useful. Mostly, though, they led from the rear, because it's also hard to direct an army when the only guy who knows what's going on and has the best chance of figuring out what to do next is dead from an axe wound. The leaders are part of the larger establishment, and as such, their goals are to force their beliefs onto others. Whether those beliefs are our nation should be independent, or your nation should be part of our nation, or even just, I want your stuff, give me your stuff, or this will continue to happen. But the second category is the rank and file, the part-timers, the warm bodies who fill out the ranks and make our guys' numbers bigger than their guys' numbers. The ranks can be political, but if anything, it's frowned upon, since second-guessing your commander can put a lot of lives at risk, not just your own and not just other soldiers. Instead, their motivations tend to be much simpler, and most often one of three options. Either they want wealth, and taking other people's stuff is an easy way to get it, they've been conscripted, and if they don't fight, their own people will kill or imprison them, or else they want to protect something. Their homes, their families, their nation. Context is absolutely king when it comes to killing. Killing someone for personal reasons is frowned upon by every nation in every time period. Even back when tribes didn't consider other tribes to be actual people, killing someone unprovoked could lead to a blood feud, to open war. That's why they came up with the weregild, the blood money, to appease survivors and head off a bigger conflict. Not that it even worked half the time. To kill for money or loot is mercenary at best, and villainous at worst. Generally speaking, raiding and looting were most common among societies with the least amount of stuff, but stealing shit from the losers has been a common practice even after professional armies caught on, and even into the 19th and 20th centuries. They don't call it the rape of Nanking for nothing. Still, this sort of behavior has at least been declining as communication develops and it becomes harder to dehumanize the enemy. And at the same time, it seems like when life expectancy goes up, so does the value of a life. But to kill in defense, whether in defense of your person or defense of your country, is a universal good. Not universal to all individuals, but to all societies, yes. No society can exist without some way to defend it from violence, much like no organism can exist without some means to avoid predators and diseases. Even tigers need an immune system. But even if you kill for only the best possible reasons, there are still some problems. It's not just head wounds. Post-traumatic stress is something we're only just starting to acknowledge and understand, but it's something that's been around forever. The ancient Greek play Ajax is about a great warrior who slays a flock of sheep because Athena has made him think that they are his enemies. Once he's realized what he's done, Ajax falls into a depression and finally takes his own life. Heracles, another great warrior, is driven mad by Hera and kills his wife and child, and then must perform 12 impossible tasks to make up for his loss of control. Is this starting to sound familiar? Nobody hates war more than a warrior. As the chorus in Ajax says, following the man's death, "How I wish that man had been swept off high into the great sky or into Hades, the home that all men share, before he'd introduced the Greeks to that war mood, which sucks up everyone, those weapons of the god of war which every man detests. Oh, those toils, which just produce more toil. That man has wiped out our humanity." PTSD is not just about a fear response. There's something in our heads, the same thing that gives us empathy, and it leaves us absolutely horrified when we see another human being die, even more so when it's our fault. It gets worse if it's unjustified, but even if you provide it with the best of reasons, it still won't go away. That's why death is rarely realistic in action movies. It's always fast and clean, or exaggerated and explosive, or else manly and stoic. The filmmakers want to show you a good time, and that can't include someone crying for water or for their mother as they slowly but inevitably bleed out. Proper war movies are not action, they're drama. A while ago, I heard an interesting illustration for my point. On the one hand, there is not much report of PTSD among the men and women who operate cruise missiles, long-range ship artillery that involves simply typing in a set of coordinates and firing the thing off. But on the other hand, drone pilots, those mascots, the inhumanity of automated warfare, they are reporting high stress and PTSD rates which are at least equal to that of manned aircraft pilots. But the drone pilots never leave the States. They're never in any danger, much like those who fire missiles from hundreds of miles away. The difference seems to be perception. Drone operators observe their targets for sometimes days at a time, and they have to watch the attack and the aftermath, whether it's a missile strike or a combat team. They know they aren't attacking a location or some amorphous group. They are killing people. And it would seem that guilt can cause traumatic stress just as easily as fear. Perception is everything. In Ronald Reagan's first term, his administration insisted that it was possible for the U.S. to win a nuclear war with the USSR and to recover within a matter of years. In 1983, Reagan saw the day after. In 1985, Reagan began nuclear disarmament talks with Gorbachev. There was more to it than a single film screening, of course, but to see what would happen if he pushed that button, it had an impact on him. The hardest part. There's an old saying that goes, waiting is the hardest part. The idea is that the anticipation of battle is harder to take than the battle itself. When you're waiting, you have time to worry. Will I live? Will my friends live? Will I have to kill someone? Will we win or will we have to retreat? During the battle, there's no time to think about all of that. You act, follow orders, you do whatever seems best because there's no time for second guesses. But while waiting may be harder than fighting, I'd say the hardest part is probably dealing with life after war. Mental health isn't the only thing soldiers have left behind on the battlefield. Combat is, and has always been, a leading cause of amputations. While advanced surgery and antibiotics allow us to chop off fewer limbs struck by diseases and accidents, explosions and artillery fire are still pretty effective at destroying body parts past the point of recovery. Amputations come with their own host of problems, like phantom pains, the stress of losing something important, and of course the whole permanent disability thing. Even veterans who don't lose a hand or a foot to a wound may lose full mobility and never return to where they were before. A permanent injury that reminds them of the war every time they so much as stand up or start typing on a keyboard. Then you've got the actual head injuries, wounds that can rob you of your ability to speak or read, regardless of how proficient you were before. Brain injuries can even scramble your memories, even your personality. Neurology is still in its infancy compared to other medical fields, and because of that, throughout most of history, these sudden changes were more likely to be blamed on the war as some vague whole, or else blamed on the veteran for giving in to shell shock or war weariness or whatever term they used to try and explain what happened. Real men got over their problems and moved on. They didn't get permanently crippled in a way that's harder to see than a missing arm or leg. On the plus side, support for disabled veterans goes back a long way in American history. The Continental Congress that signed the Declaration of Independence also promised pensions to those who would be disabled in what was already an escalating war. In the 19th century, pensions were expanded to include the widows and children of soldiers killed in action. After the Civil War, individual states stepped up, providing hospitals and long-term care for the tens of thousands of wounded veterans. And after World War I, the federal government consolidated its veterans' benefits into the Veterans Bureau, later the Department of Veterans Affairs. The biggest leap in benefits came from World War II, thanks to the GI Bill, which provided benefits ranging from low-interest mortgages and business loans to fully paid college tuition. Nearly 8 million men were able to take advantage of the bill's benefits, and it really helped push our economy into a major boom in the decade to follow. Well, that and the whole, unlike most other developed nations, America wasn't completely devastated by the war, aspect. Unfortunately, the GI Bill was pretty much the high watermark for veterans' care in the United States, and caring for the disabled, particularly the mentally disabled, has never been where it ought to be. If you don't hear many stories about World War II veterans going crazy and either hurting people close to them or else taking their own lives, it's because of one of two reasons. First, today's soldiers do experience higher rates of combat-related stress, and that's not because war has changed or people have changed. It's because transportation technology has changed. And as such, today's soldiers spend a lot more time in combat zones than their ancestors ever had to. Believe it or not, insurgencies and guerrilla tactics are not new concepts. Second, it's because people only think that today's media is heavily censored. While the government may not have stepped in to squash every last little anti-authority article, there were certain things back in the 1950s and earlier that decent folks just didn't talk about. And that included such things as alcoholism, domestic abuse, and suicide. Personal thoughts. I'm not a veteran. Never been in the armed forces. I have no idea what it's actually like to be in a war zone, to fear for my life so viscerally. But I don't think that has to stop me from speaking my mind. Now, I am not the best voice to speak for veterans. Definitely not. But the point of speaking your mind, of telling the world what you've seen, what you've read, what you've heard, is to let people know what it's like to be you. We have this pathological desire to be judged by others, to let them know what suffering and triumph mean to us. If you're good, you can get people to empathize and commiserate who have never been through the things you've experienced. If you're very good, you can get people to empathize and commiserate with things that you've never experienced either, not directly. Of course, the trouble is that if you're very good and you don't care about accuracy, you can get people to empathize and commiserate with things nobody has ever been through. And that can make it more difficult to care about what actual people have to deal with. Now, I'm not talking about speculative fiction here. I'm talking about bad writing, in which characters don't act like real human beings. My point is that even secondhand accounts, like this one, can help people understand each other and raise awareness of problems. I mean, I know that awareness can sound like a vague and useless idea at times, but, well, let's conduct a little experiment, shall we? At present, my BioShock Infinite videos are getting around 1,300 views in their first week, along with 30 to 40 likes, 10 to 20 comments, and in each week, I'm getting between 10 to 20 subscribers. I also have a Patreon account, and don't look now, but there may be a link to it somewhere on this page. But here's the thing. I am not going to ask you to like, comment, or subscribe. I am not going to ask you to give me money. Instead, all I've done is made you aware that the like and subscribe buttons exist, and that if you scroll down, you can see the video's description and a section for posting comments. You knew about these things before I told you, but what would you have done if I hadn't reminded you? And what will you do now? You may have also noticed the names and websites of a few foundations and nonprofits flashing across the screen who may appreciate any money you could donate, money that will help them help American veterans, particularly the 50,000 currently homeless veterans and the 1.4 million veterans who are still struggling to adapt to civilian life. Of course, I can't give you donation statistics for any of these nonprofits, but I can monitor my YouTube stats. So, let's come back to these numbers in a couple of weeks. We'll all find out just what awareness can really do. Thanks to Michael Nightingale for helping me compose this lecture and for helping defend this country. And thank you for joining me again in History Corner. I hope I'll see you soon.